My name is Trace, and today I'm going to be discussing the financial box office of the Resident Evil live action movies. If you're interested in any movie related discussions, topics, skits, or reviews, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button down below. So with the new Netflix show Resident Evil now being out, it got me thinking, how profitable is this franchise outside of the video games that they just keep trying to make these movies work? We had the 6 original movies starring Mila Jovovich. We had the reboot in 2021, and now we have this TV show. So it must be a billion-dollar franchise, right? I'm going to be going through each of the 7 movies that have come out and going through the box office and just taking a wild guess and giving my thoughts on what their worldwide box office was. So let's go ahead and jump all the way back to 2002 with the first Resident Evil. Back in 2002, you got to remember, movies didn't make the type of money that they do nowadays. They didn't make billions of dollars as frequently as we see now. So I got to temper my expectations. I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that worldwide, the first Resident Evil movie had a total of $320 million. Alright, and after just looking it up, I was dead wrong by a mile. It actually only grossed $102 million worldwide with a budget of $33 million. And oddly enough, it only opened to $17 million. Next up is Resident Evil Apocalypse. This came out just 2 years later. If the first one made $102 million, now I kind of have like a jumping off point. I'm going to go ahead and guess that number 2, Apocalypse, made $170 million. Not much of an incline, but it did make more. We do see here that it made $129 million with a little bit more of an opening. Now, we're about to get to my favorite Resident Evil movie, so I'm going to up it just a little bit more, but 170 is just maybe still too high. We'll go with $150 million. So now we're in 2007, and this is the closest that I've gotten so far with $147 million worldwide. 3 years later, we're at 2010 now with Resident Evil Afterlife. Extinction made worldwide $147 million. I'm going to say that the next one, Afterlife, is going to go down a little bit. I'm going to say $130 million worldwide for Afterlife, which came out in 2010. And with a $26 million opening, people were really excited to want to see this movie because this one did make $300 million at the box office, so we see a dramatic increase in the box office between the third one and the fourth one. The third movie is my favorite in the franchise, so with it being so good, that makes sense that people were excited for the next installment, because when you make a good movie, you have momentum for the rest of the franchise. Let's move on now to the worst movie in the franchise, Retribution. This came out 2 years later in 2012, and with the last one grossing $300 million worldwide, I'm going to stick around that ballpark even though I don't like this movie, and I'm going to say that worldwide it gathered $270 million. The only reason I'm saying that is because there was a gap between the time that number 5 came out and number 6 came out, that being Resident Evil The Final Chapter. If this movie had made more than $300 million, I think that that would have pushed the producers to move much more quickly on the 6th installment. So I'm just guessing that the box office didn't give them what they expected, so that gave them hesitation on the 6th one. And would you look at that, it turns out that I'm right. $240 million worldwide, so we see a dramatic decline from $300 million to $240 million. These box offices, they're going all over the place with this franchise. I don't know how it lasted 6 movies. But here we are on 2017's The Final Chapter. This box office for the franchise has been crazy. I'm going to say that there was another decline, and I'm going to go down to $224 million. That's very specific, but that's the number I'm choosing. And I should have known that it was going to go up again. $312 million worldwide on just a $40 million budget. Now, even though I am criticizing that these box offices are going up and down, I've looked at the budget every time that I'm looking at these numbers, and this franchise is keeping a fairly modest budget. I do think that that helped the producers be like, okay, this movie didn't do what we quite needed it to be, but if we tweak some things and keep the budget the exact same, maybe on the next one it will do a little bit better. So that's where we're seeing that decline incline of the box office. But all in all, you do have to make a good movie if you want to make money. And now we're on the 2021 rebooted movie, which I actually quite enjoy. I know that a lot of people gave it hate, but I actually really liked it. But because I've heard no mention of a sequel past that 2021 reboot, I don't think that it made too much money at the box office, because if it did blow up the box office, I think that I would have heard somewhere along the ways that there's another one coming, even though I did enjoy the movie. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and throw out there that I think the 2021 Welcome to Raccoon City movie made $360 million worldwide. Okay, I'm embarrassed. But now you know that I truthfully did this video. $38 million worldwide is what this freaking movie made. And I like this movie. I own this movie, but that's just laughable. And you really can't even blame the pandemic, because Spider-Man, less than a month later, made over $1 billion. So, 38 million. Hold on, let me double check that. Yeah, I was right. $38 million with a $5 million opening. So, no wonder that I haven't heard any mention of a sequel after this. I think that if the Resident Evil Netflix TV show had not already been greenlit and been shooting, I think that that show would have never even happened after the box office of the 2021 movie. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you like this movie related content, discussions, skits, topics, reviews, hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you next time.